In 2012, the Walt Disney Company purchased Lucasfilm from George for a little over $4 billion. And it seems like about since that time, the internet has been speculating as to when Kathleen Kennedy, the current president of Lucasfilm, would be fired. Well, she's not getting fired. She never was going to be fired in the way that a lot of folks out there thought she deserved. Granted, I appreciate those sentiments, but no. I've been consistent on this channel since day one telling folks that was not going to happen. But there would come a point where she would retire graciously at her and Disney's discretion. And it looks like that day is coming very, very soon. We now have a timeline on that thanks to Mr. Take It to the Bank, Matt Belloni from Puck News. Let's get into it.
I'm finished.
Renegade Online. Well, folks, welcome back. Another great day here at Valiant Renegade. It's good to see all of you out there once again. And if you are like one of the many watching this video, not yet subscribed to this channel, please take a moment and turn that little red subscribe button to gray. Hit that like button, hit that notification bell, share this sucker out on the social medias, and of course, please do leave a comment before you head out the door today. Let's go straight to the horse's mouth. And it doesn't hurt that we have a picture of Sydney Sweeney right over my head either. Gives you something fun to look at, right? 20 Surefire, 100% probable Hollywood predictions for 2026 Part 1. This January 6th from Matt Belloni. And again, as we've said many, many times, if Matt Belloni is telling us this, cash the check. Okay? This guy knows Hollywood. We've talked about it before. There was so much speculation a few years ago of what Alan Horn was going to do, who used to run the studio system at the Walt Disney Company. When he retired the first time Bob Iger left, people were wondering where he was going to go. Matt Belloni got tired of the speculation, picked up his cell phone, called Alan Horn, invited him to lunch, and Alan showed up, and he interviewed Alan. This is the kind of power that Matt Belloni has. This is the kind of connections that he has. So again, when we say take it to the bank with Matt Belloni, take it to the bank. Here's the big story from Matt. In the next week or two, Disney will finally confirm what we've all known for months. Kathleen Kennedy is indeed stepping down as Lucasfilm president, and Dave Filoni, currently the chief creative officer of the Star Wars unit, will be elevated into the top job. Simon Halls, Kennedy's personal publicist, has already set up her cushy exit interview. I'm sure the Pulitzer Committee is standing by for that piece of journalism. Filoni has never really been a traditional executive. He has not. So they're giving him a partner in Lynwenn Brennan, currently president and general manager of the Lucasfilm business unit, but he'll be at the decider on the creative direction of the franchise in film, television, and any other platforms in the galaxy. Okay, this is exactly what I told you guys was going to happen probably a year or more, maybe 2 years ago at this point, was that one of the most likely scenarios, because they weren't going to find anybody else to come in and take over this unit, and why should they have to? They were going to make co-chairs or co-CEOs, co-presidents of this company, and frankly, it makes total sense. Lynwenn Brennan, the general manager, has basically been running Lucasfilm day to day since, well, Disney bought it, quite frankly. Kathleen Kennedy has been mostly a figurehead there. And let's face it, she's not typically in the office. Rarely is she really in that office. She is there to be a lifetime executive producer and collect checks. Lynwenn Brennan is the one running the operations at Lucasfilm from the business side, from the accounting side, the financial side, the HR side, everything else in there. Now, is Lynwenn Brennan any type of studio head in terms of being a creative? Hell no. And that's why they're going to bring in Dave Filoni, not that he's much better. So, in essence, we're trading in one woman running Lucasfilm now for, two women running Lucasfilm now.
The power of many.
No! The little extra bit that I like that Matt Belloni throws in here, just to show you how deep in the weeds he is with knowing what's going on with this story, is that he specifically references Kennedy's personal publicist, Simon Halls, having already set up, as he puts it, a cushy exit interview. So that means, if that's true, and there's no reason to doubt the veracity of what Belloni is reporting here because it's him, well, that means that the next week or two is probably also very accurate in terms of when the official announcement is going to be pushed out. One of the other things I've been talking about more recently is that in the speculation of who's going to take over Lucasfilm when Kennedy retires and the timing of that, hey guys, it's 2026. Not only is Kennedy moving further into her 70s, but so is Bob Iger. And we know that Bob Iger is going to be announcing his replacement at some point later this year, probably following Kennedy's. And it's of no surprise that Kennedy was not going to outstay her welcome beyond the days of Bob Iger. It was a little bit different back in 2020 and 2021 when they were setting up Succession. The last Star Wars movie, The Rise of Palpatine, had just happened. So it wasn't like Kennedy was going to go flying out the door right then and there. They still had a lot of Disney Plus projects and, at the time, film projects that, of course, were never and have never come to fruition since. Thank God. Like the Rey movie. I'm sure everybody still wants to see that one. But yes, there's still going to be a couple of things moving forward, and Kennedy is still going to get executive producer credit on probably everything that comes out of Lucasfilm for the next 10 years, and maybe even beyond. But as of right now, she's going to be going. Needless to say, Kennedy's tenure at Lucasfilm has been fraught with, well, problems. We all know what they are, namely the films and television shows. Or how about the lack of merchandise sales for anything when it comes to Disney Star Wars that lasted beyond maybe a couple of months after the films hit? We just got new Lego sets for Star Wars released and showed to the world a couple of days ago, in fact, right after Christmas. And guess what? It was all classic Star Wars stuff. There was nothing from even The Mandalorian in there, at least not what I saw publicized online. There was nothing from Ahsoka, nothing from The Acolyte, nothing of lesbian space witches. Everybody loved that one.
I want to ask you both because this is, I would say, arguably the gayest Star Wars, I think, by a considerable margin. And
but this was the post that everybody woke up to this morning on X that led us to the Puck article. And, well, let's just take a look at some of the comments, shall we? It's over, y'all. Guys, it's been over. Interesting shakeup. Creative direction under Filoni should be worth watching. No, it shouldn't. Thank God. I hope they can bring Star Wars back. Don't hold your breath. Filoni is the chosen one. Yeah, God help us all. Sounds good. No, it doesn't. Kathleen out, Filoni in. Star Wars might finally get good again, or just more Clone Wars reruns. Fingers crossed. Yeah, I'm going with more Clone Wars reruns. How did that female Force thing work out? Filoni on creative, Lynwenn Brennan on ops. Feels like the balance Lucasfilm's been missing. Has it, though? Has it really, though? I don't think this is the balance that's going to save things. I think it's the only balance that the Walt Disney Company, Alan Bergman, and Bob Iger could come up with on short notice, because I don't know of anybody out there. Who are you going to get to come in and run this studio? We've told people for years, sorry, but Jon Favreau probably has no interest in taking over this damaged thing. Not only that, but Jon Favreau does not want to sit and work in an executive job in a C-suite for somebody else. He wants to be a hired gun to come in and make the shows that he wants to make and then be able to walk out the door. He doesn't want to be the president of a studio, unless, of course, it's Gollum, which is his own studio where he makes his stuff. And then you have these great celebratory texts that I don't know if they're celebrating the fact that Kathleen Kennedy is out or if they're celebrating that Dave Filoni is in. Either way, it's bad. I would have actually supported this one. Lex Luthor, head of Lucasfilm. I'd be down for that. Dave Filoni handling creativity is literally what fans have been asking for. Let him cook. He burned it. Damn, how is Dave going to undo all the damage Kathleen Kennedy has done to this brand? Like, seriously, they've lost most of the OG fans. How is Dave going to undo the damage? He's not. For those celebrating, you might want to take into account that Dave Filoni, as Lucasfilm's chief creative officer, was a key mentor and overseer for The Acolyte. Yes! guiding showrunner Leslie Headland and approving scripts, particularly influencing the introduction of The Witches of Brendok. So the power of many has Dave Filoni's fingerprints all over it. Dave Filoni is officially the new fan rage scapegoat. Everything wrong will be his fault, and everything right he won't get credit for. But knowing where he comes from and knowing his intentions are to keep Star Wars as true to George's vision as possible, I'll take this over a random numbers executive every time. Was this George's vision?
Power of one, the power of two, the power of many.
Look, guys, as far as I'm concerned, Star Wars is done. It's cooked. It's never coming back. It's been burnt past the point of recognition. Not even the dentist can identify the remains, okay? Not even a DNA test can find anything left that is identifiable as Star Wars. And no, Dave Filoni is not going to bail it out. No, it's not going to get saved. The only thing you can hope for is that Disney will release, as they seem to plan to for the 50th anniversary, all the original movies back in theaters again, and the ones that were pre-special edition is the rumor. We'll see if that happens, but that's the only Star Wars that ever was. That's the only Star Wars that is going to be good, and nothing that the Walt Disney Company is going to make is going to rise to that same level of George's genius back in the 70s and early 80s. It's not. That's it, kids. This is what you're going to get more of. More of make it lame and gay, because that's all Star Wars seems to be anymore. And if you're looking forward to the Filoniverse, well, God bless you. But most of us aren't. And Disney's $4 billion investment to buy this company, and then countless billions more invested in it in theme parks, bankrupt hotels, merchandise for Disney-branded Star Wars that frankly failed and collapsed shortly after the films came out, and is no more almost anywhere in existence. Well, good luck.
Make sure you're subscribed to Valiant Renegade and join us every Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern for the live show.